Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Mason Greenwood has signed a new 4-year contract at Manchester United. It keeps him at the club until June 2025. There's also an option to extend for a further year. Mason Greenwood has made 82 first team appearances and he scored 21 goals. Mason Greenwood has been at the club since the age of 7. He made his debut back in 2019. I think it's the right decision by Manchester United to give him a new contract because his performances have been very, very good since he got into the first team, and he's done very, very well recently, but hasn't managed to get his name on the score sheet. Earlier on this season, didn't really have much of a perception on Mason Greenwood because at one point he had personal issues, at one point he had injury, and at one point he had illness. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been defending him a lot this season. At the start of this season, we give Mason Greenwood that number 11 shirt. So that's the breaking news on him. Now I want to delve into some news on Jadon Sancho. So we've been handed a huge boost in our pursuit of Jadon Sancho. According to Kicker via Sports Witness, a Jadon Sancho transfer is coming in the summer. £60 million has been quoted. He did actually recently say we believe we can get Jadon Sancho for just £50 million in the summer. Dortmund face a summer of exits. It did say Dortmund could sell up to 8 players to raise funds. But Dortmund have accepted that Sancho will be leaving in the summer. He said earlier on this season that Dortmund had reduced their asking price to £88 million. Last summer, he was our number one priority target, but Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million. We was not willing to meet that valuation. But Fabrizio Romano, who is a very reliable Italian journalist, he's spoken a lot about the Jadon Sancho transfer saga. You know, Bill's Christian Falk's spoken about it a few times. He said a few times last summer that the personal terms had been agreed and the agent fees had been agreed, and even a contract had been agreed, but we couldn't come to an agreement on an actual fee. Dortmund made it clear to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. Earlier on this season, Sancho made an admission saying that he has endured a very difficult season at Dortmund. Dortmund have been very poor this season. They are sitting 6th in the Bundesliga. Analysing the vast majority of Jadon Sancho's career at Dortmund, he's been very, very consistent. This is his 4th season with them. He's under contract with them until 2023. Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. So that is the breaking news on Jadon Sancho. Now I want to give you some more news on Jules Kounde from Sevilla. So Jules Kounde is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's top target after we missed out on Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig. Upamecano is going to Bayern Munich. Apparently, we are prepared to pay £61 million for Jules Kounde at the end of the season. He does have a £70 million release clause. His performances for Sevilla this season have been outstanding. He's made 70 appearances for Sevilla. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. Do you think he'd go very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? Now, I want to delve into some news on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So a new contract for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in doubt. Solskjaer has admitted that he's still waiting to open talks over a new contract. Now, it said not so long ago, we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. Solskjaer has like 16 months left on his current contract, but he did say we could offer him a new 2-year deal on one condition. That's if we qualify for the Champions League and carry on pushing for the title. When Solskjaer got the job back in March 2019, he signed a 3-year contract. Solskjaer has been criticised recently. Is it fair to criticise Solskjaer? We have been out of form recently. We've only won one of our last 5 games in the Premier League. And these some Manchester United fans that are Ole out. I'm still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. And I think Solskjaer is going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his 3rd season at the moment and his 2nd full season. Despite our 1-1 draw with West Brom recently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists that we are still in the title race and said we will not settle for 2nd in the title race. But that's just Solskjaer playing mind games, because he made an admission after our 3-3 draw with Everton and said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. Manchester City are 7 points in front of us, so I can assure that City are going to win the Premier League. I'm not sure if we're going to win a title under Solskjaer. I do think we'll win another title at some point. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. If we'd have beaten Everton, if we'd have beaten Sheffield, I'd have turned around and said, you know, we are still in this title race. We should have certainly beaten Everton because we was leading twice in that game and we squandered a 2-goal lead. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer must win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack, like I said yesterday. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and a club of our stature need to be winning trophies. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy. We're into the quarterfinals of that, but Leicester's going to be a tough game. You know, the Europa League, that's also a chance of a trophy. We've endured quite a few bad periods under Ole. You know, we're enjoying a bad period at the moment. We enjoyed a bad period earlier on this season. You know, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked earlier on this season. Was poor at the first part of last season. We enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. But I don't know if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the long-term manager for Man United. He has been Manchester United manager now for over 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. Reflecting now on he's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. And he's managed over 100 games as Man United manager in all competitions. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and he enjoyed a very, very short tenure at Cardiff because his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. But before this bad period, Solskjaer was making very, very good progress. Obviously, in recent months, we saw performances improve. We've also seen certain players improve, and in some games, Solskjaer's got the best out of the team. We've got a fantastic away record. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. The last time we lost away from home in the Premier League was to Liverpool back in January 2020. Solskjaer's got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals. He got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Lost to Man City 2-0. Solskjaer did well in his first full season, which was last season. Guided us to 3 semi-finals. Got us qualification for the Champions League and got us third. The second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season, and we was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. And despite our reluctance to back Solskjaer with transfers, I still think he has made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he recommended Bruno Fernandes in and Odi Nagalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani for Kounde Palestri and Amad Diallo Traore. But obviously Solskjaer hasn't got all the players that he wanted in. Like I've said to you so many times before, the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. This is why a lot of United fans have been demanding the board out. Our recruitment policy has been poor for a while. We've overpaid for players, and the board haven't backed any of the managers enough that we've had since Ferguson retired. And Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ollie. He did say towards the end of last year he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And when we was enjoying them really bad periods under Ollie, Woodward still came out and said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. He did though say after the 6-1 defeat to Tottenham earlier on this season that Solskjaer will be sacked if the bad vein of form continues. But our board have got a soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. Woodward's been at the club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. To Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's credit as well, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. We saw a few players leave in the January transfer window. We saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We saw Tiedemann Mengi go out on loan. Kounde Palestri went out on loan. Marcus Rojo left the club. Odi Nagalo said his farewells to the club and Timothy Fosu-Mensah left the club. This year's summer transfer window is very, very important for Manchester United because we do need to make more signings. He says we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer, and Woodward is set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. I think a new centre-back is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority. It recently said we had a 5-man centre-back shortlist. David Carmo's been on our agenda. Like I said, Jules Kounde is on our agenda. Dayot Upamecano was on our agenda, but he's now totally out of the equation because he's going to Munich. Rafael Varane, he's also been on our agenda, but I'm very, very sceptical that he'll come to Manchester United. Solskjaer did say our summer transfer plans could be affected by the pandemic, but despite the pandemic, I am still expecting us to make signings. I've given you the 3 areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up. We need a striker, we need a world-class midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. But we need more signings to be genuine title contenders. We've struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season, and people say you've got to beat the top 6 sides, or at least some of the top 6 sides, to be genuine title contenders. And I think in the summer transfer window, more players will leave Man United. I'm expecting Phil Jones to leave the football club this year. I'm surprised he didn't leave in January, but Solskjaer said that Phil Jones is going to be given a second chance. Jones has been out with injury for the past 12 months. This is his 10th season at Man United. He's the only outfield player that's still here since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance he'll leave the club in the summer. Juan Mata's current contract expires in the summer. There is an option to extend his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, Mata rejected an $18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Mata's been at the club now over 6 years. I think he's had a good career at Man United. You know, we got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Matic, you know, could we sell him in the summer, because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. But he still does get his chances, Matic, and as you all know, I've always had my reservations about Matic, because he's always been a slow player, but he's put some good performances out for Manchester United. He's been at the club now, is it like 4 years nearly? We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. And there's still a chance that Paul Pogba will leave the football club in the summer, but there's also a chance he'll stay potentially past the summer. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. You know, there's 3 clubs that are in for him: Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus. There is a good chance that Paul Pogba will go back to Juventus. Reports from Italy recently said that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba, and he did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined Manchester United. We have held talks with Paul Pogba regarding his future. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said the other week that Paul Pogba's happy at the club, and he suggested that he could sign a new contract. The vast majority of Paul Pogba's performances have been very, very good in recent months. He got voted Player of the Month for January. Paul Pogba has now got a thigh injury. I think he's going to be out for another 2 weeks. He's a big miss. You know, earlier on this season, Paul Pogba had an ankle injury. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Don't forget, earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, recently admitted that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. He refused to comment on Paul Pogba's future, because obviously Mino Raiola doesn't have a good relationship with the club. He made an announcement back in December regarding Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. This is his 5th season at the football club, is it, since he rejoined. But if we are to sell him in the summer, I think we'd probably want around £75 million. Do you think we could offload Daniel James in the summer? But yeah, like I said, there is a few players that don't even get in our 11 now. Brandon Williams doesn't get in our 11. Played a lot of games last season. Daniel James doesn't get in our 11. Tuanzebe doesn't get in our 11. Juan Mata doesn't get in our 11 as well. So, there you go. I think there's a few things Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to do, though. I think he's got to give Donny van der Beek more opportunities, like I've mentioned before. I think he's got to drop Lindelof and put Bay there instead because Lindelof is a liability. I think he needs to drop Anthony Martial because Anthony Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Has had his chances, but he hasn't been clinical enough in front of goal. And I think he needs to rest Rashford because Rashford hasn't been in form recently. He's been a bit out of form. And I think in general anyway he needs a rest because obviously we have overplayed Marcus Rashford. Does David De Gea need to be dropped? Jamie Carragher was talking on Sky Sports and he told Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to drop David De Gea. And Gary Neville recently said Solskjaer must deal with the goalkeeper situation. And he said, Gary Neville, that we need to get a world-class goalkeeper to replace David De Gea. Gary Neville's come out and said that De Gea, Lindelof and Maguire are not good enough to win the title. But David De Gea is going to remain our number one for at least this season. To be fair to De Gea, he did well in the game against West Brom. He made 2 very good saves to deny Diagne. But he did get criticised a lot after our 3-3 draw with Everton because he made 2 mistakes in that one and effectively he cost us that game. But David De Gea's had some good games this season where there has been signs that he's slowly getting back to his best. This is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. He's made over 500 appearances for the club in all competitions. And I think when he leaves Man United, he'll go back to Spain. Dean Henderson will become our number one at some point. I think Henderson is reliable enough to become our number one because he has got that experience behind him. He endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And he's done well in the games he has played in this season. And Solskjaer's admitted that it's becoming more and more difficult to leave Dean Henderson out of the team. And I think Solskjaer's got to identify his best 11 because I don't think Solskjaer knows his best 11. We do play Real Sociedad on Thursday in the Europa League. It's the round of 32 first leg. As you all know, it's going to be played in Turin due to the travel restrictions in Spain. I've already given you my preview for the Real Sociedad game. I was supposed to be doing my starting 11 prediction on this video, but I will do that on my next video. I think for this game against Sociedad, Solskjaer is going to rotate. Well, he needs to rotate, doesn't he? Real Sociedad's manager is Emmanuel Alguacil. They're currently sitting 5th in La Liga. Real Sociedad have obviously got Adnan Januzaj. He's a former Man United player. He'll be reuniting with the club on Thursday. Adnan Januzaj has come out and said, I have nothing to prove on the reunion with Man United. They've also got David Silva, They got him on a free last year, Real Sociedad. They've got Carlos Fernandez. They brought him in back in January. They've got Monreal. They've got that Lopez. So they are a few of their players. I think the last time we played Real Sociedad was back in the Champions League group stage in 2013, was it? But I think we'll be the favourites to beat Real Sociedad. The second leg at Old Trafford is on the 25th of February. But like I say, these players that are really improving at Manchester United, you know, you've got Luke Shaw, that's really improving. You know, Luke Shaw is still our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. But Luke Shaw, you know, is showing good attacking intent, he's getting into good positions, he's putting good crosses into the box, and defensively he has been superb. Luke Shaw's had a good career at Man United, apart from obviously the injuries that he's had. Eric Bailly, I think he's a very good centre-half. I certainly prefer him to Lindelof, but Eric Bailly is too injury prone. I think Wan-Bissaka is really improving. You know, in some games he's got forward well. He still needs to get forward a bit more though. In some games his crossing's been good. And defensively, Wan-Bissaka has always been superb. This is his second full season at Man United. Fred's really improving as well. He weren't too good on his 100th appearance against West Brom, though. Fred's been at the club now a few years. We got Fred in a deal worth £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Rashford, he hasn't been in good form recently, but he's still a very good player. He's Marcus Rashford. I think we need to keep Marcus Rashford out wide because that's where he's more effective. He's more effective on the left than he is on the right, but in general he's much better out wide than he is centrally. Edison Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in as well. We weren't too good against West Brom though. Latched chances, and that's very seldom happens with Edison Cavani. But I like the way Edison Cavani holds up the play. His movement's good in and out of the box. He scores goals and he creates chances. I kind of sure he'll see out his contract at the club. We got him on a free transfer, didn't we, last summer? And Mason Greenwood, like I said, he's done very well recently. So we have got some very good players. But like I say, top 4 is now our aim this season. Because we're obviously not in the title race. I can almost assure that we'll finish out of the top 4. I'm very sceptical we'll finish out of the top 4. So, anyway guys, like I say, on my next video, I'll give you my starting 11 prediction for the Sociedad game. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.